That's exactly what they did. So let me ask the question. Are black men so frustrated with their image, their personal brand, lack of what black men call marriageable or qualified marriageable women, that black men will align with a group of men that from a historical standpoint, viewed black men as only a resource to generate their personal wealth for their family and push their ideology? Are black men so desperate for power, money, respect, influence, status that that burning desire that black men will align with someone from, like I said, from a historical perspective that might not hold their best interest? I don't know. I mean, like I said, I think black men just want what white men have, and fair enough. But here's a more direct question: are black men willing to do what white men did to gain the power, money, influence, status, and respect? Are black men even built for that? I know black men like to, we got a lot of bravado. We like to, thump our chests and boast and scream, I'm about that life. I'm about that life. We like to, thump our chest real hard, scream to the highest level that, you don't want this smoke. You don't want this smoke. We are real quick to sit up there and holler this. And we want the smoke. That's us. We like to, we will holler hard, loud, with a bullhorn. We will holler, and we want the smoke, at any chance we get. But through the last 300 years, the only men that I see that has been about that life is white men. We just say it. They mean it. Now, before I make every black person mad at me and run off my platform and my small subscribership drop so low, that it's not worth me continuing anymore, let me walk you through why I think that white men are more about that life than we are. Okay, we got to do something. We got to take a walk. We got to take a walk. Just a quick, short walk. Just stay with me. Just a quick, short walk. We're just going to go a quick, short walk down.
Took me way back down memory lane.
So we're going to take a quick walk down memory lane. Just a quick walk. So during the 15th century was the dawn of the exploration age. European nations like Portugal, like Spain and England, they sent explorers to travel the world and seek new trade routes and to seek out sources of wealth. And then over the next few centuries, like the European nations would send expeditions to every corner of the globe. We're talking to Asia, Africa, the Americas, and they sent them out to establish colonies and trading posts. And then what they did when they got there, through the use of force, brutal force, they began to extract their resources from those lands. And then one of the most significant and devastating examples of European colonization was the conquering of America. In the early 16th century, Spanish conquistadors invaded the Aztecs and the Inca Empire in Central America and basically stole their gold, their silver, forced them to convert to Christianity, introduced new diseases that actually wiped them clean out. Now let's fast forward to the 19th century. With a lot of us should be very, very familiar with the 19th century. In the 19th century, European nations turned their attention to Africa, which prior to the 19th century, Africa was untouched by Europeans. But they came and their scramble to Africa was known in Europe as the Great Scramble for Africa. European nations like Great Britain, France, Germany, and Belgium carved up the continent into colonies and confiscated most of Africa's resources, such as rubber and diamonds. So, some of the lasting effects of European colonization in the world: one, it created the global system of capitalism that we're in right now. European powers are so are also they also spread their language, their religion, their culture, their practices around the world. Great Britain, France, Portugal, Spain, Germany, all of these European countries, all of these white men, believe it or not, throughout the centuries, have had nothing but conflict with each other. Nothing but conflict. Wars against wars with each other. But despite centuries of conflict with each other, these European countries, these so called good white men, put their conflicts aside and went on a global quest to conquer the world. The United States was divided up into by basically three big countries: England, France, and Spain. These countries historically do not like each other, have never liked each other, but they worked enough to do what they did here. We all know, we all know about the Trail of Tears that happened when the Indians were torn from their reservations and marched across the country, and most of them died from exposure, disease, and all of this. We all know what happened. We know what happened in Tulsa in 1921 when a black man named Dick Rowland was accused of an untoward situation with a white woman in an elevator, and despite the lack of evidence, he was arrested. And then we know what happened after that, which was a massacre. And by the way, the record only reflects that only 300 people were killed. We already know it was more than 300 people, but you know, the victor, the winner, gets to write the history. Do black men want to be white men? Like I said earlier, I really don't know, but it's an interesting conversation. But what I do know is that as a black men want what white men have. White men were willing to conquer the world, wipe out cultures, eradicate a people's history, change their language, customs, and beliefs. Everyone in the United States is living their life according to European traditions and customs. Are black men willing to do what white men have done over the years? Are black men willing to do what they've done to obtain power, money, influence, status, and respect? Power, money, influence, status, and respect. Nothing has been off limits to the expansion of the European influence and control. So if black men want what white men have, are we willing to do what white men have done? So I got a special guest that I'm going to talk to him about that. Mr. Chaotic, can you go ahead and cam up for me, brother? Whew. So black
What's going on?
man, black men, we complain about what we don't have, what somebody else is doing to us, we complain about our women, what they're not doing to us, what we can't get.
Mm-hmm.
But are we willing to do what the white man did to get it? Are we willing to do that?
Well, salute to you, man. Positivity is coming your way. I'm so glad that you invited me up on the panel. And to be completely blunt with you, from the looks of it, no. Um, and the reason is that the black man is too busy priding himself on smoking weed, buying clothes, buying cars, watching a lot of TV, um, being selfish with his resources. Um, we don't have an expansionist mindset. And it's not just the African American black, it's the African, it's the It's the blacks in South America. We have a disconnected uh, tribal mindset. Yeah, European powers were warring with each other. You are indeed correct. The French and many other European powers stayed at war. But when it came to expansion, when it came to a manifest destiny, oh, the world was theirs. And yeah, you have very successful blacks throughout the diaspora, particularly in America. But it's a selfish success. Um, we don't lend out money to each other like other groups of people do. We don't work with each other. I personally, just I'm just one person, but I've tried many businesses with a lot of blacks, even within my own fraternity. They look at you like you're crazy when you want to work with each other. And more than likely, as a black man, the only help you're really gonna get, or the only loans or the only resources you're gonna get is from whites. Um, so no, I don't see it anytime soon. Could it happen? Sure, it could happen, but it's gonna take a full scale cooperative. You're gonna have to first the mecca of it will probably have to start in Africa. Many of these black nation states in Africa are going to have to nationalize their resources. And unfortunately, until they do, they're gonna constantly be at the beck and call of the Chinese now, the IMF, etc. Um, right now, you have South Africa, which is an emerging economy. It's a part of BRICS. Well, why would South Africa be a part of BRICS? Why wouldn't South Africa create its own monetary collaboration within Africa with other African countries? Instead of joining BRICS, which is Brazil, um, China, India. What's the other one, sir? Brazil, Russia,
China,
China,
China.
and it.
Yeah. Was it
Why?
Do we say China?
Yeah, China. Why collaborate with that? Why not collaborate with other African nation states? And it's because, again, I gotta say it's a mindset of just not working together, you know?